2 or 3 of the supports there on the side. You can see where they fell down earlier. I went to work, came back. These are hours later, and if you notice in the top 4 supports, the 2 that fell down, or 5 supports, the 2 that fell down, somehow it was able to redevelop them, or maybe they're new supports. But the supports that fell down, it looks like it's still printing somehow, despite the 2 supports. Right there, 1, 2, falling down. At one point in the G code, it stopped. I thought, this is it. It's not going to continue printing. So I push continue. The print, when I came back, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, or it looks like it's more rushed, but it was on 100 speed instead of 10% speed. I think that might be some of that there near the top where it was rushing it, but hopefully the final product, hopefully it doesn't show too much damage from that. I don't know if it was on it might not be that. It might be over here in the back, guys. On those, and that the one in the back might have been the one that got suffered from that. The lion as well might have suffered from that, but it was rushing on like 100 speed instead of 10%, so it was going literally 10 times as fast. So 1 or 2, or maybe even 3 of these might show some semblance of that, because I thought when I pushed continue that it wasn't going to continue the print. Sure enough, it heated back up and it finished the print, but I think because it had cooled, the bed had cooled down to 0, I think that's one of the reasons that those 2 supports fell down. Now, fortunately, they seem to be added supports. They're not the stuff like under the structure, which are like crucial, like super crucial. So that seems to be good, but I am rather shocked that the G code was not damaged beyond the ability to restart, even if 2 of those supports fell down, and even if it went at 100 speed for a little bit when I didn't even know it started up again, which might make part of the print, at least on 1 or more of these, look a little rushed. Even so, I am so thrilled. You know, after, how long has it been? 68 hours, almost 69 hours of printing. I'm so thankful that it turned back on, even if we lost 2 supports, and even if some of it ends up coming out looking a little bit more rushed on part of these prints. It's still turned back on, and we have 18% left, just 25 more hours, so about another day, and at least one of these pieces might be completed. I don't want to take them off until everything is completed, and I can show you guys that. But it'll be nice to see when one of these might be done and it's only focused on the remainder. So it should be, by the end of tomorrow, it should be ready. Or maybe not tomorrow, sorry. Well, technically tomorrow from now. Tomorrow morning it should be done. So that'd be nice. That will be very nice. I think it's still at. Yeah, I put it back on 10%. I'm covering my mouth so I don't get any. I'm trying to get minimum the possibility of any significant amount of even spittle, because when we talk, things come out of our mouth even if we don't want them to. I don't want to damage the print, so I'm very careful with that. Well, relatively. We can get that later. I gotta get some things done. Oh. It's about time to wash my hands, take my contacts out, and then wash my clothes. And I think I'll put the, I'm not going to set the tub yet, but I'm going to put the pizza in the oven first. I think if I can find the right piece for that. Washing off dangerous chemicals and germs. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty. I'm doing it in front of you, but gotta get my thingy. There was one person, I think it was probably like 4 people, said something really mean. And the person I think that's most responsible, they got me in trouble. I fixed the problem. I went above and beyond. And it actually should help me get the job that I'm looking for, because it gave me the motivation I needed. And it was like a thing that would normally be considered a lot negative by a lot of people turned out to be positive. And she still found a way, try to get under my skin, say something negative about the positive change I made. Of course, some people are never satisfied. If some people just hate your guts for no reason. Well, maybe not no reason, but no good reason, right? You know, and what's funny is it's like you're out of insults. So the insult was just so silly, you know. And she did it subtly enough because she knew that she knows she has to be safe when she's doing it. I'm pretty privy to that kind of thing sometimes, and or a lot of the time, and if not all the time. And it's like, yeah, I just ignored it, dude. Like it's like, dude, it's like you can hate me all you want, but you got to be around me. And it's like I'm not thrilled about the way you treat me either. Well, you're the one I started that too. You're the one I started treating me poorly. And at first I retaliated, and then I calmed down, and I was like, yeah, I should be better than that. And I started being better than that. And she still hates me. And she still wants. Oh, I got some comments. She still wants to hurt me, but it's not like it already proven that you try to tear me down. You're actually building me up, because now I'm like very sure I'm gonna get that interview I'm gonna apply for, or I already or I'm preparing for, with a good paying, very fulfilling job. I'm the only one. No, it says there's 5 people. There were 17 at one point. There was like 2 at one point. The viewership on YouTube changes, and of course you can't trust the numbers. But I just saw 4. I'll be right back. Let me put this away. You're the only one commenting though, for sure. Uh, Sometimes I'll get flooded. Sometimes my stream will get flooded, and I'll get like a ton of comments, but not always. Don't mind me taking my shirts off. I'm just washing clothes. I'm not being gross or anything. I'm just washing clothes. I'll get up to the pizza end too, actually. And since I just came back from the gym, the clothes need to be at least mildly washed and dried before tomorrow. Although I'll probably wear the shirt I didn't wear today tomorrow. I used to like wear lots of different clothing, and now I'm kind of like, no. It's like I wash everything by hand. Like, why do I need to wear all these different things? If I had a wash machine, if we were allowed to buy one, we both offer, but there's limited space, so I get it. But like wash machine, dude, that would make sense. And I do have an air for fashion, but like it's like if I gotta wash it all by hands, why do I need more than 2 shirts? Let's see. Which I don't want to give the details yet. I don't want to share what the exact job is until I get it, but it's a good paying one. This is be my 4th interview since I started applying for jobs not that long ago. I decided it's time to take it seriously, and I'm not going to stop. I've sent out like 30 applications. I've had 3 interviews. I have a 4th one on the way. Two of the interviews were from the same place, meaning they were interested in me. So, with my background and my experience, even though I have been working, for my bachelor's and my master's and my associates, I've been working, primarily lower paying jobs, although I was teaching for a little while. There's a couple places I taught at. For the most part, I've been taking lower paying jobs, easy jobs, and getting through the struggle of my degree process. But I still got some teaching experience, and of course I have my internships as well. So, like, I've taught at like 10 schools all in all. Just only 2 of them were for pay, but whether they're for pay or not, it's the same job. It's just in the one case you're not getting paid for it. But it's like, yeah, I got the experience there, got experience at the jobs I've been working to keep the bills going and to pay for food and things until then, and to keep myself busy or whatever. And yeah, it's like, I've got experience within my field and stuff related to my field from my other jobs. I have degrees. Like, it doesn't seem like the odds of me not getting a job. You have to send out tons of applications. Oftentimes, you have to have tons of interviews. Oftentimes, at the same time, last time I got a teaching job, it's like, it's it's highly competitive. And if you apply for anything remote, that's even more competitive. But at the end of the day, eventually, you just gotta get your foot in the door. Oh, I appreciate that. Persistence, yeah. That's one of the things I have to remind myself too with all this is like, don't be disheartened when, and actually I'll just put another shirt on so I don't bother anybody with that. But like I'll put a dirty one on while I'm washing clothes. But it's like, yeah, don't be disheartened just because you feel like you're being rejected. It's like you're not being rejected. Someone might have something, whether it's better rapport with that particular team, like when they interviewed people, or it's a particular qualification, or whatever the case may be. They're not rejecting you outright. They're not saying you're not amazing, or that you didn't work hard for what you have. They're saying, who knows? It could be just that they know that person. You never know what it is. It could be something that has nothing to do with your abilities. You can't. I think when we are on the job hunt, when we're looking for a new job that's more fulfilling, we just have to say, I'm not going to give up because I'm not being rejected. The fact that I got an interview at all means that there's some level of interest. Like that's huge. And if you have 2 interviews at the same job, that's a great sign. You know what I mean? Let me see if there's any comments. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. I need people like you in the stream more often. You guys are amazing. And yeah, I appreciate you. I love the support. I'm gonna go grab a shirt so I can wash this and I have something covering me. Give me 1 second. Let me just grab. Let me go over here. Let me see. There's probably a dirty shirt. I don't think I put it on storage yet. Let me see. I'm just going to put the shirt I had from one of my universities on. This, it's dirty. It needs to be washed. It's got like cat hair on it and stuff. It needs to be washed. It needs to probably have put some tape on it or something. Get a roller. But it is a little chilly in here, and I'm wearing shorts, so this is a little better. Actually, I'll leave that. I'll leave that on. It is getting a little chilly in here. I got to pull the sleeves up there to wash this. And yeah, let me see if there's any more comments. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. Hey, the fan's on. Good. It's not always easy, man. It's not always easy, but the whole reason, or not the whole reason necessarily, but a big reason for going to university and stuff is for a better life. And it's like, I mean, it's like better life doesn't just mean money either. It means also having a more fulfilling job and playing a role in society that we feel is just much. Oh, I gotta be careful with my back. Is just more rewarding to what we're doing. I mean, it's just it is what it is. This actually needs bleach. This I might do that eventually. I'm not gonna do that with my bare hands, but I gotta rinse that out with bleach. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Oh, fudge. Now, it is detergent, so my hands, well, no, I'll still rinse it off with soap too. I almost forgot, I gotta put that, got a pizza I was gonna put in the oven. I was like, geez, I'm doing all this. I can probably check on it in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I like it a little burnt. I like a lot of my foods a little burnt. Sometimes I like it undercooked, but you know, it just comes down to a lot of things. Actually, I don't know if we have. I mean, I could just do the toaster oven. I really don't know if we have what I need. Let me just double check because I don't think we have actually. I'm thinking that we want. I can try using the plate. I don't know if that'd be a good idea. Yeah, I can end up throwing the plate. Another idea. I don't know if we have any aluminum foil. Fiddlesticks, yeah. But yeah. No, it's just, yeah. What our friend in the chat said, and I love that was said, is persistence. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, fudge. Oh, my back. Persistence, 100%, 100%. I think that's just like anything in life, right? Well, maybe not anything, but a lot of things. Okay, I'll break it in half and use the. I don't want to do that and make a big old mess of it, but I'll use the toaster. One's kind of proper. I had that turned on. It's not bad to have it turned on, but let's see. This has some stuff on it, though. Let me. Who used this last? Oh wait, that was me. I used it for bread. Okay. I was like thinking, like, I don't know who used it. Am I gonna wash this whole thing right now? Because I have clothes over there. I don't necessarily want to go through that process with the other sink having stuff. I don't want those two things to go together. But yeah, it ended up being fine. It's just, well, how on earth do I have one of them out? You can't have both of them in there like that? Or can I do it like this? Does that work? Okay, it's one of these things. Oh, okay. Well, now you're a dirty dish. I've created you're a dirty dish. That's how we're going to do this. And one of the things also about like the job hunt is it's not always about, I really don't think it is always about the most qualified in terms of every aspect of the job. Because a lot of the things you'll learn, obviously there are some primary skills that you'll need to have, and the really high-paying ones, you really, really need to know a lot of those skills. But in terms of like some of the things that aren't required, or they they aren't like labeled as like preferred or as required skills. Yeah, a lot of that stuff you can learn on the job. But for a lot of job applicants, I think one of the reasons, perhaps, that it's so desirable for someone to have a bachelor's or a master's or whatever, isn't the fact that they know this topic, because sometimes the degree doesn't have to match what is actually the job itself. Many jobs just require a bachelor's or a master's in any field. Well, what's the point to that? Well, I think it shows that you were willing to put in the time and the effort to finish something that you started. Not everybody finishes. A lot of people I know didn't finish, and I think that's one of the things they're looking for, is like, are you dedicated enough to start something, finish it, and get what you set out to do? And I think that's a good indicator of what a lot of people are looking for in a candidate. So I think for a lot of people, a lot of these jobs, you might not get the job immediately after the interview, but you might have a 6 months later, it's like, hey, do you still want the job? And or if and if you're still willing to do it, I think they might want, and that's directly associated with persistence, but I think a big part of the process, especially if you're willing to do like 3 or 4 interviews with them before getting the job, things like that, showcasing the willingness to go through the process, even if they have, in other regards, they know your background, they have the first interview, they have a good idea of who you are, and some very fundamental aspects of you as a person, what you're like, what your background is, what you're capable of in a very fundamental sense at a glance. But, yeah, I mean, the second interview, I think, not only gives them a better insight into who you are, but also, are you willing to even do the second interview? Do you have the energy and the enthusiasm, and or at least at the very least, are you cemented enough with the idea of going through with something full sail, even if you have to put in more effort than a lot of people feel they should? Let me actually grab another piece of, let me grab another bar of soap for that. At the end of the day, too, even though whenever you go through the job hunt, it feels disheartening for a lot of us, whatever kind of job we're looking for, whatever our skill and experience is, it feels disheartening for a lot of us, because, you do go through that process of job after job and interview after interview. But I think a big part of it is just like keep an upbeat feeling about it. It's like, look, I might not get this job, but look, I'm doing something. I am aiming towards my goals and what I want out of a job. And I have a better understanding now, as time has gone by, what I want to do with my life, what I want from my job, and what kind of job I want to apply for to begin with. And I've targeted, and now it's not just apply for anything that I can. It's apply for specific jobs that I'm qualified to apply for, or at least that I hope I am, but that fit what I want to do and my previous experience, but like what I've been aiming towards. And, if you think about the negative, like, okay, I feel like I was ghosted by all these people, I don't think that's a good way of looking at it. I think it's healthier to be like, I'm doing something. I still got those interviews. I still am applying for jobs left and right. I applied for 3 jobs today. I applied for 10 jobs today. I applied for 5 jobs today. It's like just realizing, like, I'm doing this. I'm getting this done. And like the positive, like keeping the positive, the positive outlook and perspective as to what the venture really is. Because if we don't do that, it's so easy to become disheartened, because the job application process, and I've gotten way better at it with my attitude and everything, but like when I first started, like all those years ago, when I was like applying for my second job, like trying to get my second regular job, not like, obviously we get paid for a lot of things, and we have a lot of experience and opportunities in life. Oftentimes, we often have uh, a significant quantity of life experiences where we get paid with money for doing a task. But I'm talking about like 9 to 5 kind of jobs, and when I was going for like my second one, I think it was my second one, my second like 9 to 5 type job, I was feeling disheartened, and I was getting lethargic and stuff. That you start feeling depressed because you don't know how to think about it. And it's not like you don't want to think about it. The odds are in my favor. If I don't give up, eventually something has to come up, right? Like, what are the odds that nothing will ever come up? It's like a lot of things in life too. It's like when people pursue women, or when the people pursue men. It's like, I'll never ever ever get into a relationship that I want to be in, where we're both happy. And it's like, well, but so you're giving up? And it's like you miss. You're not gonna hit a strike if you don't even swing the bat. You're not going to. You're not going to win the raffle if you don't even put your ticket in. You're going to lose 100% of the times that you extend no effort to attempt to get something done. That's just, we have to remember that. You're awesome too, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the positivity. Not that we have to be positive 24/7, but I do appreciate. It's not even the positivity. It's just support, and I appreciate that. That's what I appreciate. I appreciate the people. Like I feel like we have to be. Like I feel like it's so pivotal that we are there for one another. You know what I mean? I feel like that's so crucial. I feel like that is it's just so healthy for us as people in this society to be there for one another. And sure, there are people who are stuck in the rut of being a butt. And you know what? It's like, not that we never think about people when they're butts to us, but I think we have to be like, yeah, they were a butt. If we give them too much thought and too much attention, they kind of get the negative attention that they were looking for to begin with. And we shouldn't be. I don't think it's healthy for us to look for negative attention. I don't think it's healthy for other people to try to look for negative attention. So why give it to them? If they're not, if somebody's being a real butt, they might be having a bad day or whatever. And some people are stuck into that day after day. Maybe they're having a tough time in their life. Maybe they just haven't learned those life lessons yet, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes we just have bad days. But it's like, yeah, why give them that attention? Why shed the spotlight on somebody who's seeking attention in the wrong place? And yeah, it's like the greater peace doesn't seem to come from finding a way to get rid of all the bullies. Like, they're always going to be there, no matter how old you get. The greater peace for me seems to come with knowing how to react to them, which oftentimes is not reacting at all. Or if you have to, trying to do it in a way that doesn't disturb my peace. Like, their peace is already disturbed. I don't need to disturb my peace in the process if I can help it. Right? At least I don't want to. It's not like we never lose our cool, but we try to. I think we want to not be at enmity with everyone in our lives, right? Or even a significant portion, or even that one person. We want to have a general sense of peace. Why do so many of us wish peace to one another when we see each other? I mean, that's, when it comes to like Abrahamic peoples, that's like very common. Christians and Muslims, we all wish peace to one another when we see one another. Why is peace so important to us? Because we do find that as an important aspect of our day-to-day life. We want peace in our lives. We don't always want, we want peace, I think, more than we necessarily want things like joy, because joy comes and goes. We know that. Things like misery comes and goes, a family member, something horrible happens. But peace is something we can take with us through all that, through the joy and the misery. We can take our peace with us through those other kinds of human externally, we can take our peace through that, right? Our peace, we don't have to have peace or joy, peace or misery. We can have both. We can have peace when we're joyous. We can have peace when we're miserable. When somebody, like, we lose a loved one or something, we can still have peace in those internal occurrences that we both see as, that we might see, both the ones that we see as negative, both the ones that we might view as positive, right? Both of those kinds of experiences, we can still take this general, or not even general, but whatever we call this, peace, fulfillment, those things that stabilize us through the chaos, the good chaos, the quote-unquote good chaos, and the quote-unquote bad chaos. We can keep our peace through that. And it's taken me a very long time to realize that as well. It's taken me a little while. It's taken me years to figure that one out. I know there's another sock in here. I was hoping to put that under the other stuff. Oh, yeah. Shirts. Oh yeah, the shirt smells really good. I think the shirts will be fine. It's like, yeah, here's my, I'll rub through that real quick. It's the seat and the, and like undergarment, like other undergarment stuff that I want to, because that's the stuff that needs to be washed the hardest. And this one too, because it's got stains. But it's just going to have to get bleached a little bit. Not too much, because it has color on it too, but like a little bit of bleach might help it. Or maybe not. I might just keep washing. I'm crazy. Oh, fudge. There you go. And then the shirts are pretty much good. They don't really need to be washed out that hard. It's the undergarments that need extra attention. The shirts are generally easier to wash. They don't generally get as much in terms of dirt and things unless you're working around a lot of dirt, which, not to say I've never done that. I remember when I was really young, I buried chemicals on the military base. That was one of my jobs I did for a little bit. Very, very short job. But it felt like forever because it was hard work. And it was fulfilling work because a lot of times the most challenging jobs, as long as there's that sense of peace, but the most challenging jobs, even if there's screaming children, even if you're doing hard labor, whatever the case may be, the jobs that are like more fulfilling are the ones oftentimes that just seem to do the most for us. Like, as human beings, like, a lot of people see challenges as problems. I think it's so much healthier to go through the perspective, to look through the lens of the perspective of the barrier or the mountain as being a challenge that can fulfill it, and maybe even greater peace through engaging in something which is more satisfying, one might say poetically, to the soul. I guess I was just watching those socks. I have other socks dry that were already washed. Those will be dry by morning, though. Then I'll put this next. Already went through that a little bit. I thought I had another pair of, maybe not. The seat definitely should get dried. I have other stuff that I washed the other night. Should be dry. If I have to miss a night, I have some clothes that are dry already, which is good. If it comes to that. If life becomes, you know how life is. But again, those things, challenges, not whatever the other word is. It's not even coming to my mind right now because I'm trying to utilize language to my benefit, right? Because a lot of how we experience life comes down to perspective, and a lot of our perspective comes down to how we utilize language, both in our mind, right? Like that internal that internal, even if it's not coming as word thoughts, if it's coming in as a kind of way of comprehending the world around us, maybe in a deeper sense than word thoughts, which I think is most of our thinking, the majority of it. What we say in the words, when we do think in words, what we think, what we say, what we hear other people say, like the media we consume, like all this affects us, I think, much more than many of us are fully willing to admit to. And that's something I learned years ago, especially when I was studying Eastern philosophy. But even from a Western perspective, this does not, from a Western philosophical perspective as well, because I studied a bit of Western philosophy at one point as well, and it's from either point, East or West, it holds true. And just from lived experience, we can testify to that holding true. That's bad down. Let me turn it off. It'll stay hot for a little while, but it'll cool it down. And then it's done now, but it'll be a little bit burnt when it's done, which is what I like. I like food as... I often like burnt food. Sometimes, depending on the food, I like it undercooked. But with things like pizza, I like it to be... I do like it to be a little burnt. At least with those pizzas. Now, with the pizza from like Domino's or something, it depends on the pizza place. It depends on how they prepared it. Sometimes burnt can be nice, or like a little bit burnt, like maybe a little crispy if they left it in too long. Domino's really doesn't. They have a pretty solidified process, which has its ups and downs, because the upside is you always get what you always get. The downside is you always get what you always get. You see how, it's interesting about that? Like, you don't get things that are worse. So you don't get a product that's worse, but you never potentially get a product that you might find better, because it's always the same. It's an up and a down. But it's reliable, and a lot of people really do appreciate reliability in a product. I personally like a little bit of mystery sometimes, but I will say, like, when I went to Wawa's for a little while, I think it was like twice, and I got hoagies that were like way smaller than what I'm used to. I didn't really appreciate that, no. I did not. Actually, I didn't wash my pants. I took my pants off. That was big. Okay, well, we'll just rinse them off and leave them to dry. I'll put a little bit. I'll put a little bit of detergent on. I'm not gonna go crazy on the pants, but I did wear them, so I probably should rinse them off, just so some of the any of the dirt, sweat comes off. It doesn't need to be. It was just washed not that long ago, but it was washed yesterday morning, so it should be fine. But a good rinse off should be okay. A good rinse off with a little bit of soap should be fine for the pants, I think. I would hesitate. Which one did I wear? I think I wore this one yesterday, which is actually the more comfortable one, but I'll wear this one maybe with a t-shirt tomorrow. But so I'll leave this one to dry with the fan, I think. But yeah, the pants should be fine. It doesn't need a thorough wash. It needs a wash. It needs a little bit of soap, a little bit of water, a little bit of scrunchiness, but it doesn't need to be like washed to the same. I like it sometimes. It gets anything extra out as well. It gets some of the extra, not anything else, but it gets some of the extra stuff out too when you wash it more thoroughly. But it was just washed yesterday, so it should be fine. It should be fine. I mean, honestly, if you miss a day of washing the pants, it's not the end of the world. It's not the preferable thing, but it's not like the end of the world. It's not like other clothing items, like undergarments, where if you wear them more than once, it can end up being a disaster, obviously. I think a lot of younger people do that, and they eventually come out of that. But yeah, I think it's quite common for younger people to do that kind of thing. The pants, and to a lesser extent shirts, it's not as dangerous. I would say shirts are a little bit more dangerous. Shirts seem to get filthy much more quickly. But yeah, it depends on the kind of work you do too. Yeah, I'll just put a little tad. Yeah, a little tad. Yeah, we'll just. I'll get that in a second while it's filling up. There's the other shirt. This one I'll leave to hang. Hang it, the wrinkles out. Right. That's the reason a lot of people wear solid color undershirts. I just noticed this shirt I wore today has deodorant stains on that. I've had that a lot in my life. Fortunately, fortunately, you don't usually see it seep through. Like even after washing shirts, they often still have deodorant stains in them. There are ways around that. Like you could use something like a little bit of alcohol or something, maybe diluted, depending on the fabric. You can get it out that way. There are ways to get it out. Like honestly, legitimately, once I get to the laundromat at some point and get a much more thorough wash, or even if I don't, it's like it's just dry deodorant. It looks gross on the inside. From the outside, you can't even see it. And it's something I don't think my wife has ever brought that up anyway. So it's like, yeah, not the end of the world. Oh yeah, they smell fine. Sorry if I'm getting boring. Sometimes I like to think about things that are less consequential, just life. And honestly, as difficult as it has often been, day after day, over the years, washing this stuff by hand, it's nice to have some people join me through the journey. Sometimes we just appreciate people taking time to spend time with us. I see I got 2 likes. Yeah, 2 likes ain't bad. Oh, fudge. While I'm eating this piece, I might throw some more in there, and I might have some a little more undercooked. I'm probably gonna get to eating that and then putting some more in there. And unlike last time, I'll probably leave you guys, but I will say, I hope you guys have a good one. And a lot of you guys are just so blooming awesome. Let me get some screenshots of those. Because yeah, if you guys want to subscribe or just bookmark the channel, come back sometime. I say I add the bookmark because I don't want you guys to feel pressured or anything, but you know, I do appreciate people who are genuinely, you know, a certain kind of person. So you are appreciated. Take care, y'all.